Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Fan Appreciation Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at an anthology film from 2011. That movie is Chillerama. Now, as has been firmly established in this series, I love cheesy B movies, and this thing claims to be a love letter to the very sort of cheesy, goofy flicks I love so much, and it offers 4 of them within 2 hours. I don't know if any of these little short films are gonna be any good. I certainly hope so. I genuinely want them to be good because of my love of cheesy movies and my love of corny B fucking grade flicks. I've loved them my entire life, and I normally do have a little bit of fun with movies that are just basically trying to, like tribute those, as long as they're not trying so as long as they're not trying so desperately hard to be, purposely bad or shooting for the idiotic title of so bad it's good. And as long as this thing handles it well, I'm going to say, similar to stuff like Grindhouse, then we are totally going to have ourselves a fun time here. And if this thing tries so desperately hard to be purposely bad, I fear then that this may very well suck, and it's probably going to suck really hard. I have no clue, though, if this thing is going to be any good, and the only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Chillerama. Well, guys, the movie has just started, and we've already got a zombie who just bit off a guy's dick. That's certainly an interesting way to start off films, and for whatever reason, the zombie was bleeding bright blue, which was sort of odd, but I'm still trying to get over the fact that we are less than 5 minutes into this movie, and we've already had a zombie bite and rip off a guy's dick. Oh, and the guy's bleeding blue also. That is really fucking weird looking, guys. I mean, cool, but the blue blood is just kind of weird. So, guys, the first of our 4 short films here is a film about a giant killer, sperm. And so far, it actually has been just as awesome as I thought a film about a giant killer, sperm would be. It's goofy, it's kind of stupid, and goddamn it, I'm actually kind of sort of loving it. So, now the giant sperm is humping the Statue of fucking Liberty. Guys, I never thought I would say that in my entire life. A giant sperm is humping the Statue of Liberty. I'm looking at it, and holy shit, that is fucked up. Funny, but definitely fucked up. So, guys, our second film here is a musical. The only things I can say about it so far is that the songs are really shitty, and the sound mix in this thing is hideous. However, though, I'm still hoping that this one gets a little bit better. Thank Christ that second film is done. God, that thing sucked. I'm genuinely hoping, guys, that the fucking rest of this is better, because, God, that was fucking terrible. Wait a minute, wait. So Hitler was preoccupied with a jigsaw puzzle of puppies and he totally missed World War I? That is fucking hilarious, guys. I am absolutely loving this third film. I actually am slowly wishing that this thing was a full-length movie. It is that fucking funny. So, the fourth film is just footage of people taking a shit. Like, literally, guys, that honestly is all that this is, and it... Alright, now we have a dog eating the shit. I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at anymore. But it seems kinda stupid. Well, guys, that was Chillerama. Let's shut that off. Wow. I guess I was genuinely hoping for something a little bit better, but I guess it's time to kind of talk about this. Now, I've noticed throughout my lifetime of watching movies, anytime I run into an anthology film, there's almost always that one segment or that one story that just sucks. And in the instance of Chillerama, that segment, the segment that almost kills the entire goddamn film, is a movie called I Was a Teenage Werebear, which is basically something that is spoofing greaser films, musicals, werewolf flicks, and gay cinema. It's basically trying to spoof all of these. Oh, and also beach movies and movies with ultra low budgets. It's basically trying to hit all of those at once. And it does so by essentially filming everything filming everything on the same 50 square fucking feet of beach, and just basically building your sets right on the beach, and making absolutely certain that it is obvious as hell that you're still filming on the beach, even when you're supposed to be in school or when you're supposed to be, somewhere else. And it was kind of funny, like the first two sets we see built on the beach. And then after that, it goes straight downhill real fast. It would probably have helped if the songs weren't complete and total shit. And really, guys, the writing in it is also just equally horrible. And mind you, guys, there's a big difference between paying tribute to B movies and just writing a shitty script. And in the case of I Was a Teenage Werebear, they just straight up wrote a shitty script, and it was terrible. The dialogue, the fucking dialogue was awful. Just everything about that segment was terrible. And the movie would have benefited greatly if that thing were just cut out entirely, and the other two primary films were actually expanded on. Because unlike that smoldering turd, the other two major films, which were The Diary of Anne Frankenstein and Wadzilla, were actually entertaining flicks. And both of them could have definitely benefited from being about 15 minutes longer apiece. And they would have been infinitely better. And mind you, the both of those were already really solid. You could have done almost anything. And guys, we also then are treated to a very small chunk of a fourth film. The fourth film was called Deathication, and the only thing we see in that 2 minutes is just footage of people just shitting on everything. And that for 20 minutes would have been better than I Was a Teenage Bear. It was that bad. And it drags the entire film down, and it is just this like 24-minute or so just zone of suck, and the movie has to try to recover from it, which is probably why The Diary of Anne Frankenstein follows it, because when you have something that fucking terrible, you need something just awesome to kind of sort of fill in and fix it. And I'm gonna tell you guys, and out of everything we see in the film, one of the funnier segments is the Diary of Anne Frankenstein. The only thing that would have made it genuinely better would have been if instead of giving us subtitles, if it would have had one of those really bad 1960s style dubs. I really think that would have fixed it greatly, especially since one of the big jokes in it, and it's the one joke in the segment that doesn't work, is that the German that everyone's speaking is rarely actually German. And at one point, it basically just turns into Hitler screaming out the names of Star Wars characters, and that is supposed to pass off as German, and it's not really funny. And once more, I really think that if we had like one of those god awful dubs that were given to foreign films back in the '60s or the '70s, it would have been vastly better. I really guess, guys, I should not be like picking apart each segment. I should just sort of talk about the film as a whole. And writing wise, most of it is really solid. Again, minus fucking I Was a Teenage Where, bear that one there. That thing has some of the worst writing I've, witnessed. It was just terrible. And as for our framing story, which is everyone is going to a drive-in to basically watch the final fucking night of films being shown at this theater, and then there is a zombie outbreak. That also has some really solid writing, except for the absolutely obnoxious amount of softball fucking references to movies. Guys, if you have characters who claim to be movie, nerds, and they speak entirely in quotes from fucking Star Wars, and they can only talk about, shit that every other human being on the planet has seen, you are not a proper movie nerd. The fucking thing almost felt as if it was written by the same kind of jerk-offs who write the fucking Big Bang Theory. As in, people who are not nerds now, never have been nerds, and are trying to write dialogue for nerds, and it was kind of sort of offensive. The very fact that they actually made it seem like a huge deal that somebody would get the reference to Red 5 standing by, or get the reference to asking for milk duds when someone goes to the fucking concession stand. That is sad. Any human being who knows shit about movies knows that the first one is a line from Star Wars, second one is a reference to fucking Gremlins. And that, guys, is the kind of softball referencing we get here. And at one point, the fucking owner of the drive-in, as he's shooting up zombies, is doing nothing but giving out some of the most obvious quotes from movies ever. He is quoting Gone with the Wind, Lethal Weapon, jeez, what else? Citizen, oh yeah, at one point he fucking references Citizen fucking Kane. It's like, and it's shit everybody fucking knows. Alright, these are some of the simplest references ever, and the very fact that you get dogpiled with them in the closing 15 minutes of the movie, it really was just a bad way to end it, because, okay, it started off, and the references were there, and they weren't, they were the real softball obvious references, yes, but they weren't a huge deal. And then the closing act comes, and then that's almost all that you get in terms of dialogue, are these stupid, forced, obvious film, references, and the characters are fucking acting as if they are the most clever human beings on the planet for referencing Gremlins and Lethal Weapon. No, shut up. You are not film nerds, and the asshole who wrote your dialogue is nowhere near a film nerd if he genuinely thinks that that's the best you can fucking come up with. It really felt a little bit insulting. Now, beyond that really forced shit in the closing segment, and the god awful writing in Where Bear, and the really terrible fake German in Frankenstein. We then have the writing for Wad fucking Zilla, and that has some solid writing because it's a beautiful send-up to 1960s and 1970s monster movies, and I'm a big fan of those, so I loved every minute of it. And while I'm on the subject of Wadzilla, let's talk about special effects. Special effects in this movie, for the most part, are really solid, and the only time that the special effects are shit are when they're shooting for stuff that looks purposely cheesy, and it actually kind of benefits. It kind of benefits the film. Now, mind you, I'm saying purposely cheesy special effects. There's a big difference between a cheesy effect and a bad effect. All right. I'm gonna like at one point we have soldiers who are standing in front of a blue screen, and then suddenly the picture behind them flickers, and the film which is showing the background, it just kind of sort of it just kind of sort of like pops off of its track, and it looks fucking awesome because it's so corny, and it looks so good. It looks so good for being, you know, for being as purposely goofy as it fucking was, and it works. And the special effects everywhere else work really well too. In the only time when the special effects kind of sort of take a dip, and once more I'm gonna take another stab at this one, is I Was a Teenage Bear, because there, guys, we have fucking makeup effects and they look kind of shitty. Gore effects here are awesome throughout. It's just the makeup effects in that segment are terrible, which I'm going to assume was done on purpose, but still it looked really shitty, even fucking for a reference to movies with terrible fucking makeup effects. It still looked bad. Music here is really good, again, except for the god-awful musical numbers in Werebear. Those were fucking hideous. And since I mentioned their reference to fucking Gremlins earlier, the now the score we hear in the final 20 minutes, it sounds very reminiscent of the score from Gremlins 2, and that had really awesome music, and I kind of sort of like the fact that all this was trying to sound similar, you know, to it, and that was great. I genuinely liked, you know, that, and once more, guys, like, music here throughout is good, except for Werebear, and that segment, I still say, this entire movie would have benefited greatly if that entire segment were fucking cut, because it sucks that much, and it really is the cause of most of this movie's problems. Camera work here is solid throughout, and I really liked how they would sometimes like randomly change up like film stock or camera type, and it really does sort of give the film a slightly different look. Everything here, guys, ultimately is pretty good, and when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Chillerama? Yes, I can. If for no other reason than because you need to see Wadzilla, you need to see the Diary of Anne fucking Frankenstein. The zombie bit at the fucking, you know, like, end is also fairly decent, if not marred by incredibly obnoxious references to movies. Ultimately, guys, the only thing here which is going to genuinely sort of which is going to pull you out and is just going to suck a lot of the joy out of the movie, is I Was a Teenage Werebear. That thing, the next time I watch this, I'm just going to have to skip past that segment because it was fucking terrible. Actually, no, I am probably going to give it a second chance, but after that, I really don't think I'm ever going to watch that segment, you know. Again, I'm probably just going to skip right past it. So yeah, guys, by all means, now if you can find this anywhere, check it out. It is definitely worth, you know, watching. I mean, granted, you know, the fucking, like, movie the movie isn't perfect, and it's never gonna come close to the awesomeness of stuff such as fucking Grindhouse, but it's still really solid. Now, because this is Fan Appreciation Month, Chillerama came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in is a YouTuber by the name of ZulaShake100, and you can head over to it, and once more, I'm going to assume that it is a him. You can head over to his YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/user/ZulaShake100. And dude, thank you. I've really been curious about this for a long time, and while I would have loved it if the entire movie were solid, the very fact that I got to see the Diary of Anne Frankenstein and Wadzilla because of you makes me incredibly grateful, and dude, I do thank you for that. This thing here is going to have a very happy spot in my in my Blu-ray collection. Once more, guys, that is youtube.com/user/ZulaShake100. Now, you know what, guys? I'm kind of sort of in the I'm kind of in the mood for more of this. I'm gonna go and watch Grindhouse, and I'm gonna have myself an awesome fucking time. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.